Hello friends, in this movie recap we'll talk about two middle-aged friends who go on vacation to Corsica with their daughters. One of them, Antoine, has his father's house in Corsica. The other, Laurent, is portrayed by the famous actor Vincent Cassel. Among the two friends, Antoine is married, while Laurent is recently divorced. These two middle-aged friends are expecting a peaceful beach holiday. But, surprise, this is not what their daughters, Luna and Marie, have in mind. Full of youthful energy and excitement, the girls want a fun-filled vacation more akin to city life, with music, dancing, and parties. When they arrive at Antoine's father's house, the girls are not pleased. To them, the house is old and far from the sea. Still, the fathers and the daughters settle in, though the house needs cleaning, and even has dead rats lying around. The internet barely works. Ironically, the only place it connects properly is near the communal grave of Antoine's father and relatives. Antoine and Laurent, deeming their daughters are still young, initially try to limit their social life with paternal instincts. Especially Antoine considers his daughter Luna as too young to be hanging out with boys. However, the girls are unstoppable and eventually get permission to go to town for Corsica's nightlife, using the excuse that they'll meet their Facebook friend Roman. But there are rules: they must go and return by taxi, no motorcycles allowed, and be back by 1:30 a.m. Clubs are also prohibited by their fathers. The girls dress modestly at home, but change into club outfits in the taxi, out of their father's sight. Soon, they find themselves in the middle of a wild Corsican disco with music and dancing galore. They indulge in all the things their fathers forbid: alcohol, boys, kissing, and partying all night. The young men they meet have one goal: to sleep with them. Their fathers wait for them in the dark, but the girls return on motorcycles with young guys and dressed in outfits very different from what the fathers expect. They scold them, but the girls just laugh it off in their drunken state and go to bed. The next day, the group goes canyoning by a waterfall using ropes and gear. Luna begins to bond with Laurent here. She refuses to descend with her father Antoine, instead choosing to go with Laurent. During the descent, Laurent repeatedly catches Luna to prevent her from falling, entirely innocently, but Luna starts developing romantic feelings for him. Later, while changing out of their gear, Luna shows no hesitation undressing in front of Laurent, often smiling and staring at him, which makes it hard for Laurent not to look at her body. Still, he only feels fatherly affection, but Luna is already head over heels for him, her father's best friend, nearly 20 years her senior. That evening, the girls try to get disco permissions again. Laurent allows his daughter Marie to go, but Antoine resists. Eventually, Antoine would allow only if Laurent chaperones. Laurent reluctantly agrees. Laurent gives Marie some money and tells her to meet up in an hour so they can head back. At the club, while Laurent is at the bar, a woman flirts with him, and they have a pleasant conversation. This upsets Luna, who is infatuated with Laurent. She asks Marie to stop her father from dancing with the woman, but Marie tells her to mind her own business. Eventually, Luna manages to pull Laurent away from the woman he's dancing with. Though Laurent doesn't want to leave, he remembers his responsibility to watch over the girls. When Laurent checks his alcohol level, he realizes he's over the limit to drive. Marie says she'll return by taxi with friends but wants to stay longer. Laurent agrees. Now alone, Laurent buys a drink for Luna. They return to the disco and dance wildly. Later, getting tired, they walk to the beach, and Luna invites Laurent for a swim, stripping completely. Laurent tells her not to do this, but she insists, saying life is short. Laurent joins her, and in the water, eventually Luna kisses him. Laurent becomes anxious about this, and he tells her it's wrong and tries to stop her, but she insists she's in love and she is confused about it. Laurent tells her it can be. But Luna's intention is different than being innocent and begins to play with him, and eventually, they have sex on the beach. Afterward, Laurent is deeply troubled, because he has slept with his best friend's daughter. He tells Luna they shouldn't continue this, but Luna won't let him go and even threatens to tell her father and tries to be together with Laurent in every occasion. Laurent is very upset and doesn't know how to tell Antoine. Meanwhile, Antoine's attempt at romance with a young woman goes nowhere, and he calls his wife again, asking her to come join him in Corsica and leave the bars behind. Wild boars are destroying the fence around Antoine's father's house, so Antoine grabs some rifles and tries to hunt them. Marie starts to suspect something between her father and Luna, especially when she sees Luna wearing Laurent's underwear at breakfast. She gives Laurent suspicious looks. Laurent knows she's caught on, but the hard part is telling Antoine. Antoine, unaware of anything, is enjoying what he thinks is a lovely family vacation. Luna continues to chase Laurent at every opportunity, even follows him swimming. Marie sees this from afar. Antoine keeps preaching about age-appropriate relationships, clueless that his daughter is in love with his best friend, who is years older than her. And Luna shows her desire to be with Laurent in every occasion even if Antoine does not notice it. Laurent keeps telling Luna that their relationship is wrong, she's only 17, and he's the best friend of her father. But Luna insists it's love. Laurent even snaps at her sometimes. Later, Antoine and Laurent repair the fence together to protect the house from wild boars, and Antoine keeps calling his wife, begging her to come by the first plane. She hangs up again to his face, she's chosen Ibiza instead. Laurent feels sorry for him and he wants to confess and tell him about his relationship with his daughter, but when Antoine calls him a true friend, he can't bring himself to say anything. Marie, meanwhile, prepares for another party without asking permission. When Antoine forbids her, she hints that she knows about Luna and Laurent and storms out. That night, Luna sneaks into Laurent's room again and climbs into his bed. He reacts to seeing her in his bed again. Laurent tells her to go back to her room. Luna acts as if she wants to call his father so that she can stay without him rejecting her. Laurent, having no other choice, lets her sleep beside him but warns her not to touch him. The next morning, Laurent panics when he sees Luna still in his bed. Marie might see. Luna says it's time to go public with their love. Laurent says he doesn't love her, but she insists he did, at the beach, and this way leaves no room for him to escape. Marie sees Luna exiting Laurent's room and confronts her. Luna tries to say she loves her father, but Marie calls her a slut and accuses Laurent of being a pervert. Laurent, saying Antoine is sleeping deeply in his room, goes to Luna's room and tells her that their affair is in vain and she does not need it. Everyone at the house becomes tense. Antoine sees Marie sleeping on the couch instead of her bed and complains to Laurent and tells him to deal with his daughter, otherwise he will himself take care of her. He can't understand why Marie is so upset, while his own daughter behaves well. Laurent's only concern is whether Marie has said anything. Poor Marie cries in her bed. The tension grows into every corner of the house. Luna tells her father that when her mom called her she told her wish to divorce Antoine, which of course upsets him more. Unaware of what Antoine and his daughter were actually talking about, Laurent assumes they're discussing him and jumps into the conversation, telling Antoine to listen to him. But when he realizes the topic is something else entirely, he breathes a sigh of relief. Naturally, Luna can't help but laugh at Laurent's reaction. Luna wants to ride a jet ski, but she doesn't have a license. Since one can't rent a jet ski without a license, Antoine asks Laurent to take his daughter for a ride. When Laurent tries to come up with an excuse to avoid it, Luna pretends she's about to remind him of the moonlit night incident, which scares him. Eventually, the two set off on the jet ski ride. Since Laurent is the one driving, he uses the opportunity to get back at Luna for everything she's done to him over the past few days. He zips and swerves all over the place to scare and shake her, clearly enjoying it. After all, he's had enough. Marie watches the whole thing from afar, her heart aching. Meanwhile, Antoine approaches Marie and tells her it's time they talk. He asks her to say what's been bothering her. But Marie still won't say a word about the relationship. Later that evening, while they're casually playing cards at home, Luna can't sit still and starts nudging Laurent with her foot. Marie notices this once again. Then Marie brings up Amaldina, an old acquaintance, or maybe a former lover, and suggests her father invite her to Corsica. Luna doesn't remain indifferent to this idea. As Marie leaves with her biker friend for a night out, Luna also walks away from the card game. When Antoine steps away to call his wife, Luna again pounces on Laurent the moment they're alone. Laurent has a hard time fending her off. After this incident, Luna cries in her bed and decides to open up to her father. She goes to him and tells him she's in love with someone. She says she's unhappy. Though her father suggests this love might not be serious, Luna insists it is. She admits she's fallen for someone much older than herself. Realizing how serious she is, Antoine begins to question her intensely. When he asks how old this man is, she says quite old. But she doesn't reveal his name. She even says they've slept together but still refuses to identify him. Antoine is deeply disturbed. Unable to hold back anymore, he demands to know who this old fool is. When his daughter says he's around Antoine's own age, Antoine blurts out, "Who is this pedophile?" Leaving everyone in the house in utter shock. It's like a cold shower for them all. Antoine tells Laurent that he'll kill this 45-year-old fool once he finds him. Laurent asks if Luna has told him who it is, but Antoine keeps repeating that even if he doesn't know, he'll find him and kill him. This deeply unsettles Laurent. Antoine asks Laurent to help find this man. That night, he asks Laurent to take Luna out and somehow find out who her boyfriend is. After all, it's always been Laurent who's watched over her in Corsica. Antoine tries to get something out of Marie, but she doesn't say that it's her father he's actually looking for. Now, Antoine is obsessed. He has to find out who this guy is. He keeps pushing Laurent to learn something from Luna. After all, Antoine believes Luna trusts Laurent. At one point, Antoine reaches into Luna's bag and takes her phone. Laurent panics, but relaxes a bit when he sees the phone is password protected. After all, there are pictures of the two of them on it. When Antoine can't unlock the phone, he goes berserk. Once again, he asks Laurent to look after Luna that night and try to find out who the boyfriend is. As his closest friend, Antoine says he's eternally grateful to Laurent. That evening, Laurent and Luna have dinner and talk about the situation again. Luna has posted photos of herself and Laurent on Facebook and shows him. Laurent grabs the phone and tries to delete them. While to Luna these pictures mean love, to Laurent they're a serious problem. Later that night, when Laurent and Luna return home, Antoine is busy shooting wild boars and greets them with a rifle in hand. Laurent argues that hunting boars at midnight is not a great idea. Antoine, of course, is still fixated on his daughter and her mystery lover. The fact that he's holding a gun makes Laurent uneasy. Antoine bombards him with questions and is frustrated that Laurent hasn't learned anything in 3 hours. They argue. Laurent tries to deflect by saying he found a clue. Hearing the word clue makes Antoine even more curious. When Laurent suggests asking the DJ at the beach party, Antoine latches onto the idea, immediately assuming the DJ must be the guy. Even though Laurent says he didn't say the boyfriend was the DJ, Antoine becomes convinced and decides to go see him. Antoine and Laurent go to the club and start watching the DJ. Antoine sips his drink without taking his eyes off him. Laurent tries to talk him out of it, but it's pointless. When the DJ steps away to use the bathroom, Antoine follows him, tells him his daughter's name, and tells him to stay away. Then he punches him, asking, "How could you sleep with my daughter?" He beats the guy up. As the DJ rolls to the ground, he yells that he's gay. Once the two realize he really is gay, they head home. Antoine feels terrible for beating him up and tries to blame Laurent. Back at home, Antoine and Laurent hear movement outside. Thinking it's another wild boar, they accidentally shoot the neighbor's dog, Locum. A horrible end to an already bad day. Finally, Marie can't take it anymore and tells her father outright that it was Laurent she slept with. Father and daughter argue openly this time. Marie tells him not to touch her and kicks him out of her room. Laurent, being the kind of man who values fatherhood, wants to make peace with Marie, but she's still angry. In the end, Antoine, Laurent, and their neighbors decide to go hunt wild boars together. They drive to the forest where the boars have their dens, everyone holding a hunting rifle. While they wait in silence, lost in their own thoughts, the two friends begin to talk. Just then, they hear the sound of a boar. Antoine lifts his rifle and looks toward the sound. That's when Laurent, unable to hold it in anymore, finally says, "It was me," to Antoine. As the boar crosses the main road and disappears, Antoine tackles Laurent. Ignoring his pleas, Antoine tries to beat him. The two men wrestle on the ground. Eventually, Antoine returns home alone, leaving Laurent behind. Laurent also makes his way home, pulls out his suitcase, and starts packing. He's leaving. The house is filled with silence. What will happen to the friendship? And so the film nears its end. Laurent and Antoine sit waiting for their daughters. Luna and Marie return, and from the expressions on their fathers' faces, they can tell everything. They wait to hear what Antoine has to say. Luna asks, "What happened to you two?" Just as Laurent is about to open his mouth, probably to say they fought, Antoine says, "Nothing happened," with a smile, putting an end to it all. It's his way of saying that even if he doesn't approve of his daughter's relationship with Laurent, he won't stand in their way. Everyone relaxes. Luna, madly in love with Laurent, looks at him with a beaming smile, full of joy. Marie also gently touches her father's arm, signaling a reconciliation. And so, the film ends happily.